Hey freelance writer friends, I'm going to give you some quick tips on when you're interviewing with a client, what to say, what to do, and how to really put your best foot forward. Tip number one is really understand what your client or the person who's going to hire you is looking for. Well, as I mentioned on another post here on TikTok, there's a link in my bio because I'm hiring 4 writers in the copywriting space who love Web3 for some overflow work that I need support in. As I mentioned in my application description, job description, all that stuff, I'm looking for writers who are copywriters first, who have a pretty decent amount of copywriting experience or have samples that show that they can write things like web copy, white papers, things like that. And so that's really critical for the job. So if you're in an interview with somebody like me who's hiring for a freelance copywriter, make sure to play up your copy specific experiences, the types of deliverables that you've worked on, your approach to them, and make sure that you've sent relevant samples either after the interview or you've included it in your initial application. This is super important because as a copywriter, you need to be able to persuade the audience, whoever's reading your copy, why they should buy a product. So whoever you're applying to or whatever job you're going after, if it's in the copywriting space, you need to be able to convince that interviewer, specifically through the written word, it doesn't have to be in the interview itself, why they should hire you. And that begins with acknowledging what they're looking for and how you can help them solve a problem, which is everything that copywriting is. Which brings me to tip number 2, which is please proofread your application or any written materials that you send in. A stray typo is not going to kill you because everybody makes mistakes and everyone understands that. However, it's really important if you're submitting for a writing application or a freelance writing job of any kind that you've really thought about how your words sound on the page, how the application flows. Even if you're only writing a few sentences and doing it fairly quickly, you should demonstrate that you're a great writer and you're great on the page because that's how people decide whether or not to hire you. I cannot tell you how many applications that I get that are riddled with typos, that feel really like rushed or feel really like angry or upset or just like really short or not very like polite or friendly or somebody that I'm going to want to work with for a long time. So remember, being friendly and personable and having those soft skills is important, which brings me to tip number 3. In every interview, you want to showcase your soft skills, meaning that you're able to be friendly, you're able to relate to somebody, and you're able to do a job and be like cool to work with. Because I've worked with people who, unfortunately, when I give them some feedback or told them like, hey, like this isn't what I'm looking for, but I'll reach out again in advance if I have a job for you, they would just react really poorly and then blow up at me, and it was not a good experience. And so people who are hiring for freelancers want to work with somebody who's cool and chill. And you're probably cool and chill. So you want to be able to have some amount of that. You don't have to be the most extroverted, friendly person ever. Trust me, I'm not. But you do want to have some social skills.